here today. Nice little overcast day with a little cool breeze here at Mike Anderson's. Come on by and see us for lunch. The oysters are already coming out here at the Oyster Bar. Come on and have a little lunch with us, Jimmy. Good morning. How are
Good
you?
morning, Charlie.
Okay. So there's a few things going on.
Yeah, man, I'm fired up. I'm fired up to see where these the first committee poll is going to be tonight. Man, I can't wait.
that
Can't wait. A lot of anticipation.
You got that. You got the NFL trade deadline this afternoon. You
Lions, as expected, kind of waited. They identified their guy early, and then they pulled the trigger on him this morning to try and absorb the blow of Hutchinson on the outside.
That's a really good trade, man. To land somebody like Zadarius Smith, who is a productive pass rusher for a pair of third-day selections, and you get one of them back kind of in a pick swap. That's just a good that's just a good trade. And if you're the Browns, go ahead and do this. They've moved. This is now their second veteran that they've moved. This is I don't want to call the Browns a good organization, but if you recognize where you are in life and you move a 32-year-old pass rusher because you can get some draft capital back for him, you do that. And for the Lions, without Aiden Hutchinson, they had a need for this. They may not be done. They may add another defensive lineman if they can find one for a reasonable price. Chase Young, before the end of the day. So those moves, the Cowboys is promised in the ad mode. Tell me this is not classic Cowboys. They put Dak Prescott on, or they're about to put Dak Prescott on the injured list, which means he's going to miss a minimum of 4 games. And you have a losing record halfway through the season. They traded a 4th rounder for a wide receiver, though. Jonathan, now he's a young wide receiver. So it's not like it's this year and that's it for him. But promised they would be a buyer. They're at least a mini buyer so far. That's unless you think Mingo is worth more than a 4th round pick. I mean, if you're adding him just for this year, I think your prospects are pretty limited. Mingo's been a nice player. And Carolina's got a couple other receivers that they like. So you get a 4th round pick for him. That's fine. He's been okay. Not a nice player, but if you're the Cowboys, you're not making that move with an eye towards this season if you really understand the situation, which I'm not saying that Jones does.
No, this is not for the future.
Well,
this is not for the future.
You're right. They don't think of it that way. That's the way.
That's
the way I would think of it if I were trying to justify this as a Cowboys fan.
3-5. You think they're better than their 3-5 record?
Not much.
Minus 54 a point differential.
Not
that's
really.
Pretty bad.
Not really.
That's worse than most 3-5 teams.
Right. No, what I would tell you is that Mingo was a 2nd round pick last year. He caught 42 passes as a rookie, which is okay, and he's 23 years old. Okay, so if you're trading him with the idea that this guy can develop into a quality starter for you, fine. If you're trading him because you think you can get in this year, God bless. So what might happen with the Saints between now and the trade deadline this afternoon? My hope is something, but my thought is probably nothing. If you're thinking, hey, look,
this loser organization, man.
If you're thinking move guys for draft capital or cap relief, you run into a lot of problems. And I don't want to get into a whole, accounting of the salary cap, but there are players that it would cost more to trade than to keep. Your cap hit would be more. You don't have many players that have any trade value that you could move. ESPN did a piece this morning on what it would take to fix the Saints. And you know what the number one thing was? The number one thing to fix the Saints.
Get rid of the general manager.
Well, yeah, that. But as far as the cap situation, hope somebody retires.
Well, get rid of the guy who puts you in a cap situation.
We're in lockstep with that, Jimmy.
Loomis should have been fired,
a long time ago. But I'm talking about what can happen between now and 3 o'clock this afternoon. Okay, could you move Marshawn Lattimore?
But Charlie,
possibly.
this is the same guy that's in charge, though.
I get it. I get it. And
when you go,
maybe with a firing of the head coach and a long discussion, maybe. I'm telling you what I would do. I'm telling you what any reasonable person would do. He's probably going to do nothing, but I would try to move Lattimore for a little bit of draft capital. This is an example of what the Saints
are. Insanity? The definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and expecting a different result. Okay,
and this is the same guy that's put you in 32nd by a lot, right?
Yeah,
and we're expecting him to do something different because he fired the coach. Like, man, that's gonna
I'm not
solve everything last year, this year, and next year.
I'm trying to give you a picture of just how bad this is.
Oh, I know. Who is most responsible?
Mickey Loomis. Okay.
I mean, it's but that's where we are.
I want to illustrate this for just a second.
Go ahead.
Okay. Trade Marshawn Lattimore. It'd save you a bunch of money, right? It wouldn't. They'd save $600,000 this year, but they would take a bigger dead hit with Lattimore off the roster than they would keep with him on the roster. This is the cost of these voidable years and continuing to roll these things over, these things we talked about forever. So you say, well, if you traded Marshawn Lattimore, you get some cap relief. You wouldn't. Not for 2 years. Not for 2 years, and he's not the only contract like that. So what do you have that you could trade? Lattimore. You could probably you could move Chris Olave if you could pass a physical, but I don't know if you could do that. ESPN suggested they trade Derek Carr. I don't know who in the world would take Derek Carr at this point at what it would cost them. So, you might be able to talk Sean Payton into taking Taysom Hill off your hands, which also wouldn't save you any money or a very, very limited amount of money. So that's why this is so difficult to take, and why I misstated on Sunday. I said, well, firing Dennis Allen doesn't do any good. Okay, it does good. It makes you feel better. That's great. You don't get rid of Mickey Loomis, you got no chance. If you continue to do business this way, you got no chance. And it gets worse and worse and worse every single year. So what the Saints could do between now and the trade deadline is minimal. It'd help a little bit, but they ain't going to do that. So, yeah, it's frustrating. And I wanted to illustrate that one contract just to say, if everybody says, well, just blow it up and start over. They can't. Not in anything inside of 2 years. It's going to be piece by piece, and it's going to be painful as hell. And it's why this job is not going to be terribly attractive to anybody who has options. You and I were listening, riding back yesterday about who's the hottest assistant coach going in the NFL. Ben Johnson, the OC with the Lions. Well, if he's got any options at all,
he should. I
mean,
my God, if that guy doesn't have options, I'll be shocked. Scratch, he's out.
Whatever number of coaching jobs come available at the end of the season, the Saints will be last, unless Carolina fires the guy, after Canales after 1 year, and that's just because of the owner. This is the worst job in the NFL right now.
Yes,
it doesn't have to be the worst job forever, but right now it is the worst
Who's
job.
Who's most responsible for making it the worst job?
Mickey Loomis. And as long as he's still there, then this will be the worst job in football.
This is the worst job. We no, not even up for debate.
If Mickey Loomis were fired tomorrow, you're still 2 years away from this not being the worst job.
I guess the one thing that it does, I think Miss Gale has shown that she will offer support.
Yeah,
for resources or whatever in a salary cap league, but as much as she can without interfering with you. Without telling you what quarterback to play.
Correct.
What quarterback to draft and things like that.
Yeah.
So she is an asset in that regard, but she's also a little bit of a negative, very much a negative, by maintaining the guy that has put you in this, who is most responsible for putting you in this situation.
You're correct. And I think that there'll be two things after the season when they go coach hunting and hopefully GM hunting that any qualified candidate's going to want to know. Number one, how much control do I have? Because if there's somebody above my head that's just going to put us in this revolving conveyor belt of cap hell, then I'm not interested. And the second thing is, how long is my contract? And you can turn this around in a 2-year period. The Texans did. Okay, now they drafted the quarterback they needed to draft, and that ain't no sure thing. But they gave D'Amico Ryans a longer term contract. He went in there and said, listen, I have options. He had a very good run in San Francisco. He said, you fired the last 2 guys after 1 year. I'm not interested in that. So I want a longer term contract. I would imagine that a qualified candidate would tell the Saints the same thing. I'm not going to come in here just to be fired 2 years from now because I can't assemble a roster under these conditions. But if you give me a longer term contract, which is also going to be painful because if the coach ends up stinking, then it's harder to fire him. But one thing at a time, he's going to say, I want a certain amount of player control, which is scary, or I want to work with somebody who I trust, and I want a longer term deal because this is going to take a long time. That's what you're faced with when you go coach hunting in off season. And like I said, hopefully GM hunting. And if Loomis is still, a part of that as a player, as control over personnel, then I think the job becomes 10 times harder because everybody in the league knows how the Saints have done business since Drew Brees. Well, really before, but at least with Drew Brees on the roster, you could say, well, they're trying to build around a Hall of Fame quarterback. They're going to take their shot. But none of this stuff makes any sense, as I'll get to in the next hour when we do first, second, no, about
Well,
how you've operated since Brees retired.
can you? Well, Peyton dominated. He is as responsible as anybody as well to until his departure.
Pre 21, yes, he
Okay,
was.
so and to be fair, but Loomis is continued it and just. I mean, this way. I mean, they kick the can, but there's kicking the can, and then there's just, geez, last by a lot. There's a lot of bad owners. There's a lot of poorly run organizations in this league. You have these guys, these owners that are so deep deep into their life. They want now and they don't care. They sacrifice next year, the year after, whatever it is, because they just want to do it. Jerry Jones thinks he getting a receiver for this year.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
He ain't thinking about the future. Oh, ain't no way. And I mean, he hamstrings his organization. We laugh at these teams, and now the 32nd by a lot is really who. So who can explain that to Miss Gale?
Dennis Laucha is about the one opinion that she would, outside of Loomis, is the one opinion that she would respect outside of him. And Laucha and Loomis have been together a long time. He's not gonna. I don't know if he's gonna put it in the bluntest terms that you can get. The easiest
you have
way
a compromised organization.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, you can get a good coach, but you're going to have to strike. You're going to have to find you're going to have to find a 2-star that's a parade All-American. You're going to have to find one of those hidden gems because you're not getting anybody that anybody else wants.
No.
You're not doing that. You're just not. And I mean, because anybody who's got any options, like some of the big names, like Detroit offensive coordinator. I mean, Belichick, Vrabel. I mean, those guys are going to have multiple options, especially after a year and what they see with some of the hires are made. So, I mean, and but Loomis is the one putting out the public statements and this and that, and he's going to hire the coach.
And that's the scariest part, because if he hires a coach, then you have to have a coach that is willing to take him as a personnel director. And I would look at Loomis's draft history or his cap history and say, I want to work for that guy.
Here's my $1 million question. Dennis Allen, one of the worst ever, right?
As a head coach, yes.
Who's been worse, Loomis or Allen?
Overall career path, you have to give Allen has been worse, because Loomis at least has
right now put the Saints in this situation.
Loomis, the Saints in this situation, Loomis. If you were asking me who's been worse overall in their career, I'd tell you Allen because he has no success as a head
Yeah,
coach
yeah.
anywhere.
Loomis is part of the
Yeah,
success.
yeah. So,
I mean, he was the
but
bean counter that was promoted when Randy Mueller just talked. They didn't go hire a GM. They just promoted the bean counter. And then when Peyton came over, then he was the GM, and he wagged, the tail wagged the dog, and he was, and maybe not entitled, but he was GM, and Mickey was assistant GM.
Who's had a worse career? Allen. Who's more responsible for the Saints being in this position? Loomis, by considerable.
32nd by a lot. Your words.
That's the figure. That's not even my opinion. That's
to where you as an obvious seller, your point of this was to explain to people your options are limited.
Yes.
That's how bad of a situation this is.
That was where I was going.
When it's an obvious selling spot, Saints buyer or seller. I mean, come on. And for some, it's tough to identify. Some like the Baltimore Orioles were not a buyer, huh?
Well, I'll give you one. If you're the Bengals today, are you a buyer or seller?
Well, they I kind of already know what's going on with them. So, I mean, it's not a fair. Traditionally, never a buyer.
No,
never a buyer.
They made a trade this morning, which is only their second in the last 20 years in season.
Well,
and they got a guy hurt. Moss got hurt, so they went and picked up a running back because the guy got hurt.
I mean, it's cornerback or defensive tackle or offensive line. I mean, let me know if they get one of those today. That would be, but they're trying. But they're traditionally they don't buy anything.
No,
ever.
Not in season for sure.
But it is a little bit of a kind of like, okay, we're gonna try and give this coach, commit to this coach this year, and if he can't get it, don't you feel like it's a little bit of a? They don't make the playoffs. He might. I think he's done, or make a run even.
His overall
fair or unfair?
Yeah, his overall record is probably going to save. I think is going to save him. Because if you look back to the prior years, the record is good.
So if they don't win a playoff game, he's back.
I think he is. I'm not saying I would keep him, but I think he is. Yeah.
Windows open on that one too, sir. It is election season.
I had to pay off an election bet already
ching,
today.
Ching, ching.
I'm tired of giving you
Joe
money.
Biden's still in office, Max. If you haven't checked, so and that's the extent of our.
That's the end of it.
I can't wait for the results tonight for the first poll, for the first committee, the playoff committee poll, Charlie. I can't wait for the results.
I want to know where Boise State is. That's one of the more interesting.
You know where Boise State?
I want to know where they are.
Where's Texas?
Yeah.
What's Texas done? They beat Vandy.
They did.
They beat Vandy.
They did.
How about that, huh?
Best win?
Who?
Is that their best win?
Absolutely on the road. Yes, that's their best win. Where they had just as many fans as Vanderbilt did. No, for my friends in Asheville, 50-50.
Bowl team, Vandy.
They're bowl team.
When's the last time they've been a bowl team the first week in November? They ain't been a bowl team that many times, period.
James Franklin, they didn't get bowl eligible till pretty late.
Till the end, yeah.
They did. Yeah, James Franklin did have game day there, though.
He had three.
But there's no coaching. In my lifetime, I've not seen a coaching job like this going on in Bloomington. 1995, Gary Barnett getting Northwestern, win the Big Ten title, and getting to the Rose Bowl. Different era, no transfer point. This is unbelievable. Their schedule is a little soft, but come on, man, it is. You've beaten some people with.
I'm also curious to see where they are because that schedule has faded a little bit over the last 3 weeks. All of those middle wins that they got, all those teams are losing.
Like Nebraska is a great example. Nebraska 5-1 when they played them. Yeah. Nebraska's what, 5-4 now?
5-4 now. Yeah. Washington's another one that's lost 3 out of 4 games. Yeah. It's been a problem.
Hey, we're over here at Mike Anderson's. It is Oyster Night. That's right, the Oyster Night, and I can give you the results. Little Michael Pearl is man, he's shucking them out over here, boy. Yes, indeed, he does a great job over here. He even gave me the oyster juice from my Thanksgiving gumbo last time, Charlie. So you got to love that oyster water and the gumbo. It is a difference maker. Trust me. As we get closer and closer to Thanksgiving, we got trick-or-treat candy. Max has been eating all of it. Watch that big fella in the green shirt at the bar. He's going to come over here and try and get some as well. So we'll get to him in a little bit. But it's having a good time over here. Everybody's excited about seeing the results tonight for the first college football playoff committee poll. We're live at Mike Anderson's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch. This hour of Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny is brought to you by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, 343-1111 and ocbrown.com. Roto-Rooter for all your plumbing needs, 925-8710. Supreme Rice, grown, milled, processed in Louisiana since 1936. United Community Bank, the local way to bank big. Lofton Staffing Services, 924-0200 and lofton.jobs. Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments on Jefferson Highway, 928-8659. Total Maintenance, your one-stop shop for AC, electrical, generators, and plumbing. Service today, every day for Total Maintenance. The LSU Alumni Association and the Cook Hotel and Conference Center. For reservations, thecookhotel.com.
Hey, Tiger fans, this is Ben McDonald with First South Farm Credit. When you're buying or refinancing land, it's important to go with a lender who has experience in financing rural land. That's why I went with First South when I bought my property. And with flexible terms up to 30 years and competitive rates, they can build a loan package that's right for you. Visit them online at firstsouthland.com or stop by one of their branches. Have a cup of coffee and find out why First South is your first call for financing land. firstsouthland.com.
Come work for River Parish Contractors. RPC is a large local workforce that is constantly growing and is always looking for talented pipe fitters, iron workers, equipment operators, rig welders, civil carpenters, and general labor. Come learn about our team. RPC offers competitive pay and excellent benefits. At River Parish Contractors, you don't have to travel to have a career. Our jobs are close to home. Give Big Jake a call or apply online at rpcontractors.com.
Robinson Brothers Ford is where truck and SUV buyers go for a big selection and even bigger savings. F-150s, F-250s, Escapes, Explorers, Broncos. We're stocked up and ready to sell your favorite new Fords at a price you love. Right now, save thousands plus. Pocket big Robinson Brothers cash on 2024 Escapes and 2023 F-150 XLTs. And as always, no unexpected fees. Hurry to Robinson Brothers Ford. Excludes TT&L registration, insurance, and dealer doc fees. Ford credit bonus cash with approved credit through Ford Motor Credit.
Do you feel like you get hurt at the most inconvenient times? Brock's After Hours Clinic has you covered for a break, sprain, or strain. Open 7 days a week, nights and weekends. Walk-ins welcome. Learn more, brortho.com.
Take a swing around the parish to one of Breck's 5 golf courses, 2 championship courses, Santa Maria and Beaver Creek, and 3 courses for the more casual golfers, the popular 18-hole Webb Park, and 2 9-hole courses, City Park and the newly renovated J.S. Clark. Breck's courses are designed to challenge every level of golfer from beginner to pro. So come and get into the swing of things. Book your tee time online or find a course near you at golf.breck.org. That's golf.breck.org.
Power outages can strike at any time. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge is ready with our Shoots Electric Power Outage Tracker. For the latest information on any outages affecting Louisiana, head to 1045ESPN.com. Powered by Shoots Electric and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
The Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny Restaurant Club. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, downtown facing Town Square. At Jolie Pearl, we're pretty shucking good. Louisiana Lanyap on Perkins and Bluebonnet, winner of the most 225's Best of Awards. Snow Seafood and Steak for over 50 years on Airline, Highway, and Highway 74 in Gonzales. Dozy Place for hand-cut steaks on Government Street and Mid-City. Louis Cafe, a Baton Rouge landmark since 1941. Just outside the north gates of LSU. Finbom, sushi, burrito, poke, ramen at Burbank and Lee, and Phil's Oyster Bar since 1950 on Government Street and now in the South Downs Shopping Center.
Insurance companies have teams of professionals to fight your claim. If you want to know what your case is really worth, I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA filing number 16-7970.
Hi, this is Jake and James of Trash Rangers of Louisiana. Have a question, a problem, call us. We answer the phone. 225-363-9053.
Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 5 brands on one lot. Shop BayouAutomotive.com.
Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
You can always get the show on demand.
I mean, this
104.5.
guy, there's no
ESPN.com.
chocolate in there, so he passes. I mean, you know.
It's leftover Halloween candy. You take what you take
Oh,
what you're
man.
offered. Hey,
Selective beggars.
when you walked out of the stadium in Las Vegas after the the
Oh,
game.
Miller Moss. Here we go.
What kind of year do you think Miller Moss was going to have?
I thought he was going to have a pretty good year.
I did
thought
too.
I thought he was a pretty cerebral, pretty accurate thrower. A throwback. Pocket. He ain't going to beat you with his legs. I just think that I can't go back and scrutinize exactly, but they're losing. They're 4-5. They've had their chances to win some of these games. I mean,
USC overall, but
this is not much different. Okay, USC's got to blame it on something, right? Okay,
yeah,
so they're going to make a quarterback change. Saints, Dennis Allen's bad. Is he the only reason? Hell no.
What are the biggest problem with Lincoln Riley teams?
Defense.
Yeah. Do they ever have a problem with the quarterback?
Never.
Don't his quarterbacks always put up numbers, always get better? I mean, everyone he's had before this did. That's why I thought, listen, USC may not be great this year, but Moss will have a good year. Lincoln Riley's quarterbacks always do.
Look what he did at Jalen Hurts passing at Alabama and his passing at Oklahoma.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we know he can run. We know he's strong as an ox. But, I mean, just as a passer, he put him in more favorable positions. Big 12, they didn't face the defenses in the SEC, but still, he was. He's going to be a 10-year starter in the league. And as much as we debate on him, you couldn't say that when he was at Alabama.
Absolutely
Hell no.
not. This is the biggest surprise because there's starting to be rumblings that Lincoln Riley may get fired, which is
no,
and I don't think he will. The buyout is $90 million.
No,
I don't think they will, but not this year. But that his quarterback failed would be the biggest indictment. It's like, look, man, we know you got defensive problems. We know that your teams are generally soft. But if you can't do the quarterback,
unhappy fan base, unhappy boosters are one thing. Chance of getting fired is another.
Yeah,
and
I don't think he gets fired either. I'm just saying that this is a big shot against him. If
it seems like they've lost every close game too, huh? Michigan,
yeah,
Washington,
Minnesota.
Yeah,
no, they have.
That's not Miller Moss's fault. The guys, when you bring those.
It's a little bit his fault. He's thrown a bunch of interceptions. He threw 3 last week. It's a little bit his fault.
That was a big part in the game.
It's not all his fault, but it's a little bit his fault. You remember Jaden Maivia at one point was at UNLV was
Maivia. No, he was. I didn't see how UNLV was going to have the season when he was such a big part of what they did.
They were real high on him.
He was the guy. He definitely brings more of a running threat too.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going a little different as well. But yeah, let's give him a shot when he's going to be an improve on his legs alone. That's given. Miller Moss just looks so much more accomplished, so much settled, so much comfortable. But yeah, if he's struggling, why not make a move? But that's not the difference why they're losing.
They get a bye week and then they get Nebraska in 2 weeks. USC 4-5 on the season. By the way, when you see the rankings tonight and they start talking about bad losses for the borderline teams like LSU, who I think will be somewhere around 15 tonight if I had to guess. You're going to say, okay, that loss it gets worse every week. It seems like for LSU.
In LSU and Alabama, it's clear. The winner wins out again.
Yeah,
they don't, they're out.
I think so too.
That's it.
I think so too.
You can't afford another loss. I would have said at one point, a 3-loss, a 9-3 SEC team definitely got a shot, but not the way things have played out to this point. Yeah, a little carnage last week. Iowa State got popped. Who else got popped? Clemson, big one. You got to make that league a one team league.
At this point, the best chance for a second team out of the ACC or the Big 12 might be SMU.
Well, why not 12-1 to Miami? You lose SMU in the ACC championship game.
Yeah, and I guess
that would be the best resume.
Yeah,
possible.
I guess in my head, I'm thinking Miami wins it just because they're still undefeated. And I shouldn't think that way because SMU could very easily beat them.
Be about a field goal spread.
Yeah,
neutral in Charlotte.
But an SMU BYU game on a Friday night back in September that didn't seem like much at the time ends up being one of the biggest
unbelievable
games of the year.
I was in Borough Vibes. I'm like, this is a garbage game.
Yeah.
And but that's one of their wins. It's one of their wins. Kansas State's a good win. I mean, BYU should be up there pretty good.
They'll be number 4 tonight, right?
Well, no. It's just a ranking. It's not anticipating college football.
Okay.
So forget where.
Right. Ohio State's going to be in front of them, but they won't be in front of them when they'll be in front of them tonight.
Say Oregon, Ohio State 1-2. Well, they can't be. But yes, tonight.
Right.
No, they're not doing any anticipated
brackets.
Brackets until we find out who the champions are.
Okay.
Yeah. So, don't forget our friends at K&M Automotive. You're looking, I can't wait. Can't wait to see the results of the first college football poll. Huh? You have a little wine, huh?
That's what I'm waiting for.
Like Roscoe would say, I'm going to get my popcorn. Sit back home.
Be prepared to stay up late.
K&M Automotive on Siegen Lane, Siegen by Perkins, right across from Ambrosia Bakery. The only place I take my vehicle. All we want is just a fair shake. That's what you're going to get when you go over to Jason Payne. He's got a great history of repeat customers. Go by and check him out. Tell him you heard about it right here, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. He's open 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. He usually has is busy because he has so many repeat customers. So you're going to get an honest deal, going to get a fair shake. Come by and see my buddy Jason Payne at K&M Automotive, 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. Siegen near Perkins, right across Siegen from Ambrosia Bakery.
Live at Mike Anderson's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
Sid Edwards wants your vote, but his voting record? Pure hypocrisy. He skipped voting in 27 elections and didn't bother showing up when we needed him most. Yet now he's asking for our trust. For 8 years, Sid Edwards didn't vote to keep us safe. He's been MIA when our community needed him, but suddenly he's ready to lead it? Don't buy it. Sid Edwards is a zero for our communities. Paid for by Louisiana Government Accountability Coalition.
People ask me all the time, where's a good place to go eat? My lock that never misses? Louisiana Lanyap. I've never had anybody disappointed. The snapper and papillote and the cocodrie are staples. Some of my favorites start off with the marinated crab claws or the oysters lanyap. For an entree, seafood stuffed bell peppers. Got a little kick to them now, so watch out. And blueberry bread pudding for dessert. Nobody has collected more 225 Best of Awards than Louisiana Lanyap. 9990 Perkins Road near Bluebonnet, where you always get a little something extra.
Well, why don't you just come right out and say it?
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the Jim's Firearms.net hotline at 499-1045.
Say what?
Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the Jim's Firearms.net hotline. Get the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge mobile app powered by Bayou Ford and tap the microphone icon to send us your thoughts in an audio message. Your message could be played on air. Find our app in the Apple or Google Play Store. For direct links, visit 1045ESPN.com.
By now, you know that we do our show every other Tuesday at the Crown Town Room at Dozy Place. The Crown Town Room is ideal for larger groups, or if you just want to watch the game on one of our 3 large TVs. The tamales are the most popular appetizer, but don't forget the seared tuna with the sriracha glaze. For the perfect blend of sweet and spicy, you can't go wrong also with the flash fried oysters or the shrimp. The porterhouse is the perfect steak to share. Strip on one side, filet on the other, prepared at different temps if you like, bone in to maximize flavor. Dozy Place on Government Street, just off Acadian in the heart of Mid-City.
This holiday season, give yourself the gift of time, the most luxurious gift of all, courtesy of the concierge services at Genesis of Baton Rouge. With so much to do, let our valet service bring the test drive to your door. Need maintenance? We'll pick up your vehicle and return it when the job's done. No hassle, no wasted time, just seamless luxury. Visit genesisofbatonrouge.com and enjoy the holidays on your schedule. Luxury awaits. Genesis of Baton Rouge on Airline across from Woman's Hospital and genesisofbatonrouge.com. Football season is back, and the best place to watch all the action all season long is at Pluckers. Nicholson, just south of campus, Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana, with wall-to-wall TVs and award-winning jumbo chicken wings. What more could you possibly want? Pluckers is also a great spot to host your fantasy football draft, with the commissioner getting a gift card when you schedule in advance. Make sure Pluckers is part of your game day plans every game day all season long. Pluckers, if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
At Lofton, we're in the business of matching hard workers with some of the most sought-after employers in the Baton Rouge area. To Lofton, you're more than just another employee. We care about your interests, and we can help match you with a company that needs your skills. You can complete an application, schedule an interview, and even browse jobs by simply going to lofton.jobs. That's lofton.jobs. We also offer an unlimited $100 referral bonus. At Lofton, we put people to work. Lofton.jobs.
If you're tired of erosion and mud and want your lawn looking its best, winter is the easiest time to lay grass sod. Let Quality Sod help you select the perfect grass for your lawn. For winter sale prices, call 610-4842 or qualitysod.com.
Hi, this is Jake and James of Trash Rangers of Louisiana. If you switch your residential or commercial trash pickup to us, we promise to never sell your trash to the paparazzi. Seriously.
Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 5 brands on one lot. Shop BayouAutomotive.com.
Heading out to Las Vegas, deep in the desert, lives one man. One man of many sports bets. The one and only Andy Iskoe.
Let's go out to Las Vegas. Andy Iskoe with us today. Andy, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm mulling over my final decision, which is where do I place my I voted sticker?
Yeah. Well, Charlie has some suggestions.
Hey, Nevada's a swing state.
I suppose.
What's that, Andy?
It depends on how good of a week I have coming up.
Yeah. So, well, how was your weekend this weekend?
Well, I still wonder why the Giants went for 2 when the score's 20 to 20. What was it? 24 to 16.
Oh, they had to put it on 3, Andy. I mean, you know.
What's that? Say that?
It's 27-22.
They're 2-point conversion.
But it was 24-10. Giants scored to make it 24-16. They went for 2 and failed.
No,
that's
yeah. Well, that is way more common than it used to be. Randy McKay, I subscribe to that as well. The new one.
I don't care what those analytics say, because you can make numbers say anything you want depending upon how you want to select them and how you want to present them. You don't give up points when 1 point puts you in position to score again, and then you just need an extra point to tie and perhaps force overtime.
Actually, it's worked more than the other side because, Green Bay last year got the first 2. They won it by 1 when they scored against New Orleans again. Tennessee against Miami, one of those double headers last year. They're down 14, got the 2 on the first one. They win by 1 point. In Miami, somebody this year did it. And it's just the Giants.
You can also point out the number of times when it doesn't occur. It's about 50-50.
No, but saying, so if it's 50-50 and over the normal course, and then I'm trying to be fair, Andy, okay? Because there's some things that I'm a big believer in blending in all your resources, but not married to one. I'm not partisanship, okay, for one side or the other, okay, to be in the theme of the day. But I mean, I'm. But the one thing would to your argument here, the Giants are now 0 for 6 or 0 for 7 on 2-point attempts. That would be the biggest thing of it, because. What I want to know is,
well, not only that, if you miss the first one, or let's put it this way, if you decide to go for 2, it means you're going to have the opportunity twice to do it. Yeah, if you're successful the first time, then maybe you kick the extra point to win. But if you miss the first one, then you need to make the 2-point conversion just to tie and extend it. So you've got a chance to, okay, we can settle for a tie and take our chances, or we can take a chance that we may be up and then we still have to score again.
Well, the one thing is, the move extra point back is not a guarantee. It's a little bit, it's a small percentage, but it has to be factored in as well. But the biggest thing to me is it an offensive game? Is it a defense? For instance, last night, what about Tampa Bay? It's rainy, but they're moving the ball. It's scored with 40 seconds. So 40 seconds, Kansas City.
You're also going up against Kansas City, which has a history of you give me 30 seconds and Mahomes will take you down for at least a field goal. That's a little bit different. Here, the Giants are struggling to win a game that they haven't been able to win. They've been horrible at home. They're going up against a Washington team that is a division rival. I think when you're talking about a division game, a tie is better than a loss.
Well, they don't need a tie at this stage of the season either. Come on, let's be fair, Andy.
They need anything they can to avoid another loss. Giants are not going to contend for the playoffs. The Giants may not contend for 6 wins.
Okay, well, I mean, but throw that out then if it doesn't matter, because if we're still talking about they need a win, I mean, a tie is more palatable for Washington's chances than New York's to try and improve their playoff thing. The thing about it is if it's strictly 50-50, you have a 25%. I mean, you 50% chance of making a first one, then a 75% chance of making one of the two. Now, there's 25% you can miss both, which they did. But if you do make,
which they're very good at all year, by the way, like you pointed out.
Now, no, and they are not Kansas City going for 2.
By the way, they should have learned from the first game against Washington, where they didn't have a kicker and they had to go for the 2-point conversion. They were 0 for 3. They're going up against the same personnel. That should have factored into it as well.
No doubt. Just them being 0 for 6 or 0 for 7 for the year, that's not. I'm sure Kansas City is a little bit better. I'm sure Philadelphia.
They were 0 for 3 against the same team. It's different if they were 0 for 3 against the Vikings or somebody else. It's the same team that they should have beaten the first time.
Yes. And they didn't have. Now, they had to the first time because they didn't have a kicker.
They had no choice in the first one. I obviously have no problem with that. You got no choice.
Right.
But when you have a choice, you're late in the game. You've been desperate to get a win. Don't decrease your chances by increasing your chances for a loss.
What did you think about Tampa Bay's decision last night?
I could have seen it either way. I mean, I still hate that rule. I mean, I don't care if you score a touchdown on the first possession. The other team has to have a chance to match it, because otherwise you're deciding it on a coin toss. So, and you're putting the pressure on the team that loses the coin toss, because A, first they have to stop them, and then B, they have to score, or the game's over, and the other team with the other team having to just get a field goal to end, and nobody, you don't get a second chance. So,
well,
I go back to Kansas City. They've shown over and over again, most recently in the Super Bowl, you give them just a few seconds. I thought they may have been able to do a little bit more to maybe run the clock down a little bit more and take more time off before going for the touchdown that they were going to score from the 1-yard line.
Charlie, the big underdog factor doesn't
it would have
pertain here.
Yeah, it would have me, because you saw when Baker Mayfield went out for the coin toss, and when he lost the coin toss, you saw the look on his face. You give Mahomes the ball at the 25-yard line, to get Butker in range, you're going to have him probably from the 40, and even with the rain, 35. So he needs 40 yards. He can do that, blindfolded.
Yeah, but the other team gets a possession on field goal.
Well, I'm talking about the end of regulation.
Yeah.
You almost had that.
And they would have been obviously way more aggressive had they got the 2.
The other consideration is Tampa Bay is in a divisional fight with Atlanta, where, again, a loss hurts more than a tie.
Yeah. In Kansas City against Mahomes, I probably lean towards going for 2. There were 2 other situations this weekend where a team scored inside of a minute, one of them with no time to go. New England was one, and Seattle was the other one. Where
that was overtime.
Yeah, but they scored with 50 seconds to go, and they could have gone for 2 there.
Oh, yeah. What I was begging for.
So all 3 of them kicked the extra point, and all 3 of them lost. Doesn't make them wrong. I could see it either way, but all 3 of them kicked, all 3 of them went to overtime, and all 3 of them
Seattle
lost.
was a favorite there without Nakua. They had a chance to kick the extra point there, but then they didn't kick the field goal in overtime. They went for it.
Yeah.
And then New England, they gave up a field goal. That was another one. And we both saw that it was 3rd and 1 when they fumbled the snap and lost a half a yard. It rattled Tennessee and said, let's do the safe thing and kick the field goal and take the lead. And eventually
won.
Make
the rookie go down and beat me.
Yeah. So, Andy, who you looking at? Who you liking the big games this week? Ole Miss, Georgia, and LSU, Alabama.
I was surprised when I did my work on the Georgia-Ole Miss game that Ole Miss actually had some advantages offensively this year with what they've been able to do. Even though they struggled for a few weeks, they finally got it back against Arkansas. I'd like to see the line go up a little bit, and I might be on Ole Miss. Alabama, LSU is a little bit more difficult. I'd like to make a case for LSU. Haven't quite gotten there yet. Again, I'd like to see some money come in on Alabama. The one game that surprises me, Vanderbilt continues to be an underdog. Now, they've got two tough games coming up against LSU and Tennessee. Now they're at home against South Carolina, getting 3.5 points. What more does Vanderbilt have to do? I mean, the coach continue to play. Hey, you guys have done so much. You knocked off Alabama, and you're still an underdog at home. Yeah, South Carolina played a great game against A&M, and I don't know that they're going to have a letdown because they're playing for big stakes too. But Vanderbilt has a chance to have its first non-losing SEC season with getting a fourth win, because you have to think they're going to have a tough time against those final two opponents, LSU and Tennessee. This is a chance for them to continue to make a statement. So I'm going to be on Vanderbilt again. And the other one I'm looking at right now is Utah getting points at home against unbeaten BYU. They've dominated that series. I believe they lost last year to BYU. I don't recall if it was last year or the year before, but they had a long success record. Been a tough transition for Utah into the Big 12. I think a lot of it had to do with the Cam Rising situation from week to week. Now that's been resolved. They've had some time off to work on things. So I'm going to look for an upset from Utah this week over BYU.
Georgia Ole Miss, Charlie. One of the teams is top 10 in scoring and top 10 opponent scoring. And it's not Georgia.
Right.
Yep.
It's Ole Miss. I think it's the only team in the country that's top 10 in both points scored and points fewest points allowed.
That home field is still what I'm kind of.
Even 64,000 fought Hemingway is not like the big boys.
George, you brought it up. Georgia's the only team to go on the road and get a big win among the top 7 at Texas.
Needed the kind of win that they got last week at Arkansas, dominating from start to finish, showing the offense that they had showed earlier in the year that had eluded them the last few weeks. I don't know that I certainly hope for Ole Miss's sake they don't come into this game overconfident, because Georgia's coming in off of not a great effort that managed to turn into a win.
Well, last year it was this game, because Ole Miss came into this game last year with a better record.
Yeah,
they were 8-1 as opposed to 7-2 this year, and they got trounced. It was 52-17, and it was worse than that. And it prompted Lane Kiffin, I've got to get better up front. I've got to, specifically up front defensively. They're top 10 in fewest points allowed, Charlie.
Yeah, and shame on them if they go in there undefeated. I mean, not to use the runts thing over and over again, but I mean, my goodness, how could you possibly be overconfident against them? I'll tell you the other thing I like, the serious edge at quarterback goes to Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
Carson Beck has been a turnover machine the last 3 weeks. He's on 8 interceptions in his last 3 games against only 5 touchdown passes. Jackson Dart is playing at a much higher level.
But that Cavender girl looks good.
The Lamborghini,
and the Lamborghini looks
it
good.
runs.
Yes,
yeah,
yes, it looks good. It looks good. He's interested in all that. Andy, anything else before we let you go?
No, I think that's about it. I'm going to work on this week's NFL schedule and see if we can do better than 1-1.
Hey, no, you're fine. You are just fine on Sundays. Trust me, Andy. Trust me on that. You know, the only other team I did find it. One other team, top 10 off points scored and fewest points allowed in the country.
Boise State?
Charlie, the story of the year.
Indiana.
Yes, Indiana, Andy. Indiana, Andy. Where's the fighting Wes Reynolds?
I think, haven't they won every game by double digits?
Yeah, they've never trailed. Oh, I'm sorry, this year. I mean, this week, Michigan State 10-0, and they flipped that around pretty quick. I was feeling great about my Michigan State bet early on. Nope. I'm glad I put it on Peacock to watch that.
There are 2 teams I cannot stand. You know, if you can't find a reason to play on them, I would hesitate playing against them. That's Vanderbilt and Indiana.
Yes, indeed. Yes, and they're just still they're covering machines, no doubt about it. Thank you, Andy. We'll talk to you on Sunday and get your picks for football Sunday.
Look forward to it, guys. Enjoy
All right, don't forget my friends over at Supreme Rice. So you're boiling rice and gumbo season just around the corner. How about the holiday season just around the corner? So hey, get the parboiled rice. If you boil your rice and you wonder why, I know it's got a little bit more residue and I can rinse it off if I want to with cold water. I'm trying to firm it up. The long grain, the parboiled rice. It is restaurant style. It is restaurant quality rice. I mean, it is really, really outstanding. It's a relatively new product that we have in a Supreme Rice line of products, and it's available in just about all the grocery stores in the Baton Rouge area. The parboiled rice from Supreme Rice and supremerice.com.
Live at Mike Anderson's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch.
If you're looking for some time away, but you don't want to go too far, the Cook Hotel at LSU is just what you've been searching for. Book your getaway today and enjoy a beautiful escape in any of their luxurious guest rooms or suites overlooking the gorgeous LSU lakes. Whether you're here to shop or stay, the Cook Hotel at LSU is where you can find it all. Stay for the weekend, come by, grab lunch, or shop at their alumni gift shop. Visit thecookhotel.com to book your stay today. That's thecookhotel.com.
Harness the Boudreaux boost when storms loom. Boudreaux's Electrical powers your life with top-tier Generac home standby generators. Dial Boudreaux's Electrical for energy that endures, because with us, you're never powerless. Visit BoudreauxElectrical.com.
After the final whistle under Friday Night Lights, head to Brock's Friday Night Clinic for free orthopedic care and more. Whether you're a football player, cheerleader, band member, or dancer, everyone's welcome. Trust Brock for expert care after the game.
Previous hailstorms have caused hidden damage to countless Baton Rouge homes. Ryson Roofing spots the damage, makes the claim, and replaces your roof. You pay only your insurance deductible. Never anything more. Call Ryson Roofing today and schedule your free inspection. 330-3513. RysonRoofing.com.
Have you been arrested or even issued a traffic ticket? Everyone makes mistakes. Hi, I'm Dana Brown from the law offices of O.C. Brown. If you find yourself in an unfortunate situation with the law, call us today, and we can help you resolve your problem, whether it's just a traffic matter or something more serious. No criminal matter is too big or too small for us to aggressively and effectively represent you. Before making any decisions, call us at 225-343-1111 for your free consultation. You can also visit us at ocbrown.com. The law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime.
Make LeBear's Baton Rouge your game day headquarters this season. They've got the biggest screens around, and now you can bet and dine at ESPN Bet in person. Plus, sign up today for Cover 5's SEC contest. Go to the Cover 5 app, click on Join a League, and enter the code LABRSEC24. Pick each SEC game that week, play against your friends, and enter to win weekly and season-long prizes. Not a member? Get the Pin Play app today. LeBear's Baton Rouge, your live sports headquarters. Must be 21 years or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966 for help.
We're here to examine things that get better with age, like this bottle of Chateau Lafite Child, vintage 1877. Age can make things more valuable, like this Picasso from his Blue Period, 1904. And treasured, like this Roto-Rooter jingle, 1954.
Roto-Rooter jingle?
Just listen to it.
Oh, Roto-Rooter, that's the name. And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
A timeless melody.
Roto-Rooter?
The lithe arrangement.
But it's a claw-busting company.
Wrong there. Roto-Rooter has grown into more than a clog-busting company. They're North America's largest full-service plumber and drain cleaner. And when you need Roto-Rooter, remembering this jingle can be priceless.
Roto-Rooter.
For all of your plumbing and drainage solutions, call Roto-Rooter in Baton Rouge at 925-8710. That's 925-8710. The new location of Los Reyes Mexican Grill, Wesley across from Mike Anderson's. Man, the place looks great. Lots of indoor and outdoor seating options with plenty of big TVs to watch all your favorite games. All of the traditional Mexican cuisine with a great happy hour, 2:30 to 6:30, 7 days a week. Plus $5 margaritas all day, all night on Wednesdays. Great spot to bring the baseball team in between games, just 5 minutes north of Traction and 5 minutes south of LSU. Los Reyes Mexican Grill, 1072 West Lee, near Nicholson.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
121-12674. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
One rumor kicking around right now about the trade deadline is that Marshawn Lattimore could end up going to Washington. Apparently, the Commanders are making an offer. The Commanders have an extra third-round pick from the Johan Dotson trade. They got a couple of extra third-day picks as well. One of them actually came from a pick swap with the Saints. So they've got a little extra draft capital. They're certainly a contender, and they've got the cap space to do this. Like we said earlier, it's going to cost the Saints more to trade him as far as cap space than it is to keep him. But that's one potential. They are getting offers. Apparently, the Chiefs have also inquired about Marshawn Lattimore.
The limited track record of this new Washington general manager is that he does value draft picks based on that he's got some extras already built up in his short time. So Now, will they be a buyer? We'll see. But he has put himself in a position where it would not be severely damaging if they did. They're in position to be a buyer
with an extra 3, an extra 6, and an extra 7. A three, and one of those other 2 picks for Lattimore sounds about right. If he can pass a physical, which I'm guessing he can if they're talking about it this deep. First class, second class, no class. When we return here at Mike Anderson's Wesley at Nicholson, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Lunch.
Hello, I'm Coach Sid Edwards. People ask me all the time, why are you running for mayor or president? It's easier to show you. I'm standing here on Evangeline Street where earlier this year, one of my teenage football players was gunned down. Our politicians have failed us. Crime, homelessness, blight, traffic, it's all out of control. I am bringing together communities from across the parish, and together we're going to show Baton Rouge what it's like to win again.
Paid for by the Republican Party of Louisiana. When it comes to celebrating life, there's no better place than Ruffino's. With locations in Baton Rouge and Lafayette, Ruffino's is a steak, seafood, and Italian-inspired restaurant that focuses on the celebration of life, regardless of the occasion. Whether it's the food they serve or the service they provide, their goal is to ensure a remarkable experience for their guests that is always remembered. To view our menu, visit ruffinosrestaurant.com. Ruffino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
I'm here with former Tiger and attorney Chris Barrett.
Gordy, one area of the game often overlooked is special teams. Having the best special teams players can often be the difference between victory and defeat.
Now, Chris, how does this relate to hiring the right attorney?
Just like on the football field, you want an attorney who has the special skills and experience to obtain victory. For more than 20 years, I've been fighting for my clients in courtrooms all across Louisiana. Whether you've been injured in an accident or arrested and need to defend your rights, you want a Tiger on your team.
Chris, how can people find you?
Call me, attorney Chris Barrett, law offices of O.C. Brown in Baton Rouge, 343-1111.
343-1111.
LA filing 231-6026.
Now, everybody's been to Louis Cafe by campus. Heck, it's been around since over 80 years now. We're still doing delicious omelets like the Mitchell, cheesy grits, Big Cheesy Lou, and those Louis Original Cajun hash browns. We now offer a pickup window. Just call in your order at 346-8221. Give us 15 or 20 minutes, and we'll have it ready for you. Our hours are now 6:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., 7 days a week. So next time you visit campus, make it a point to stop by and visit an old friend. Louis Cafe, just outside the north gates of LSU.
With over 40 years in business representing the same manufacturer, Gulf Coast Office Products is committed to bringing 7 office equipment solutions to the Louisiana market. With flexible leasing programs available, Gulf Coast can accommodate your budget and customize invoicing requirements to help streamline your business. As official partners of LSU and ULL Athletics, 7 and Gulf Coast with over 100 employees care about our community and their customers. You're just one phone call away. 225-756-2644 for a free analysis. Gulf Coast Office Products.
If you're a small business owner, you've probably noticed how the big banks like to force you into one-size-fits-all financial service products. At Neighbors Federal Credit Union, we've created a suite of flexible commercial checking accounts designed to fit the specific needs of your local business. And with 9 full-service locations throughout Greater Baton Rouge, we're always just around the corner. We're a local small business looking out for other local small businesses. Learn more about Neighbors commercial checking accounts by visiting neighborsfcu.org. Neighbors Federal Credit Union. We're here for you. Insured by NCUA.
If you're a Baton Rouge area business struggling to find employees, Tiger Labor and Staffing, a family-owned and operated business, is here to help. Whether it's light industrial work, warehousing, manufacturing, or just a little help on the job site, Tiger Labor and Staffing provides timely, professional employees to help your business get the job done. Reed Brunson and his team will handle background checks, payroll, and workers' compensation insurance. When it comes to temp staffing in Baton Rouge, whether it's a day, a week, or full-time, Tiger Labor and Staffing has the eye of the tiger. Visit the website to learn more, tigerlabor.com.
Cajun Soft Wash, Baton Rouge's largest soft wash company, offers top-tier exterior cleaning for homes and businesses. Certified, insured, and locally owned. They ensure safe and thorough cleanings every time. Learn more at CajunSoftWash.com.
Insurance companies have teams of professionals to fight your claim. If you want to know what your case is really worth, I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA filing number 16-7970.
WNXX Jackson, KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers, LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge. Live at lunch, first class.
I want a seat in first class where I was booked and ticketed over a month ago.
Second class.
No man should be subjected to the indignity of being labeled or treated like a second-class citizen.
And no class.
Life had become like school on Sunday. No class. I'll tell you what then. Why don't you call me sometime when you have no class?
First class, second class, and no class. Brought to you by Supreme Rice. Buy local with Louisiana-based Supreme Rice since 1936.
All right, sometimes we time this up just right. During the break, Adam Schefter and several others reporting that Marshawn Lattimore has been traded to the Washington Commanders. We're waiting on the details of this trade.
"Quote unquote" premium draft choice.
Yeah. What is
Ian Rappaport?
What do you think that means? Second day draft pick? I can't imagine
Premium?
Well, I'm trying to think about what
second.
I don't.
No, a second round. Oh, you
a third round,
second or third is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I think. I'm trying to think of some of the biggest cornerback. That's what the premium cornerbacks have been going for in the last couple of trades. And I'm trying to.
Third is second, Charlie.
I think it's going to be I think they're going to trade him that extra 3, but we'll see. Those premium corners, the ones that have been available anyway, have gone for those about that. So we'll see if we can get the details between now and the next break. But Marshawn Lattimore maybe starting to signal the beginning of a philosophical shift for the Saints. A number of people that cover the team said, you know what, this Allen thing is not the last thing that's going to happen, and at least so far.
So Mickey Loomis going to try and start working now?
Working differently, for sure. First class.
Everything's fixed.
No, not everything's fixed, but at least this is a step in the right direction.
It's an obvious move.
It doesn't mean they had to make it.
True.
True.
No, I understand, but we just got thrown. I mean, oh yeah, he has to go.
I don't disagree.
He has to go.
All.
Enough done.
I don't disagree at all. One of the frequent targets on this show has been David Tepper, the owner of the Panthers, and with good reason. He has given plenty of reasons for him to be, criticized is the nicest word I can come up with. But he did something very cool last week. I want to give him credit. Luke Combs, the music star, grew up in North Carolina, wanted to have a charity concert at Bank of America Stadium to raise money. David Tepper donated everything. He let Combs use the venue for free. He didn't keep any of the parking, any of the merchandise, any of the food, any of the beer money. He paid the salaries of all the employees that worked the event, and he even covered 100% of the tax bill. The result was the largest concert in that stadium's history. 82,000 people showed up. They donated $25 million to the hurricane relief. And since Tepper paid for everything, all of that money went to the victims and for hurricane relief. We've criticized him plenty. I've been at the top of the list. He didn't have to do this. He could have said, well, yeah, you can have the stadium, but I need the parking lot. They gave $25 million to the hurricane victims. That's first class.
So he donated the beer and the concessions, or he donated the profits?
He donated everything. He paid for all of the product, and he paid for
paid for the product.
Paid for the product. Paid for the taxes, paid for the guys that had to go work at the vendors and all that stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
No, that's good.
That's
good.
Complete donation, 100% of the money. So he gets first class. I had to mention this one. Southern Nazarene, this is a Division II school, beat Ouachita Baptist, which sounds like a high school, 18-17 last week. Southern Nazarene was 0-8. Ouachita Baptist was 8-0. The adjusted line on this game for Division II, 46 points. They won as a 46-point underdog. Got to give them a little credit for that, huh?
Where are you finding this line?
Well, it's a power rating more than a line, but you had 8-0 against 0-8 and 0-8 won. So power rating 46. This is Stanford.
Did you have Baptist Nazareth or whatever it was?
I didn't. I couldn't find a line. I couldn't find a line anywhere. So Southern Nazarene as a monster underdog gets the win this week.
Is that Wichita to Monroe?
No, it's a college. I think it's in Arkansas, and they lost as an 8-0 team. Second class. This is any trade made, and I wrote my notes this morning before the show. So obviously, this trade since just happened. Any trade that the Saints make today that gives them any kind of cap relief or any kind of draft capital, I'm all for. They're outside of maybe 3 or 4 guys. There's nobody on the team that I wouldn't consider moving if it helped in a future situation. So any trade today is good with a chance to help. How's that? But sometimes we do good with a chance to be great. How about the teams that had a chance to keep it going and didn't this weekend, Jimmy? Texas Tech beat Iowa State, who was rolling along by a point.
In Ames.
Tough place to play.
Clemson loses at home.
Louisville, 33-21 over Clemson, basically putting, if they don't win the ACC, their playoff hopes on life support. And Pitt, who had clipped along there and won some close games, but they were still undefeated in November. They ran into a buzzsaw last week with SMU. So these were previous second classes, good with a chance to be great, and they fell a little short of great. 3 teams going down this weekend: Iowa State, Clemson, and Pitt, a reverse second class. And no class. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be repetitive, but let me just read this very quickly, and then
don't go be partisan today. Now
I'm not. It's got nothing to do with that. Mickey Loomis, as I said on Sunday, and the Dennis Allen firing is only part of the problem. But let me give you the reasons why. Now that I got a little time and I don't have 160 characters or whatever it is. Since Drew Brees retired, Mickey Loomis has drafted on the first or second day of the draft Peyton Turner, Trevor Penning, Isaiah Foskey, Kendre Miller, who between the 4 of them have produced almost nothing. Penning's a starter, but a marginal starter at that. In those same 4 drafts, they have landed exactly one person that had any kind of contribution at all, Jordan Howden, and a little bit Landon Young, if you want to talk about a depth piece on the offensive line. No 3rd or 4th round pick last year. So you have been an absolutely atrocious drafter over the last 4 seasons. You're $62 million over the cap for next year, which is 15 times the worst besides that. In 2026, you have veterans Cam Jordan, Derek Carr, Taysom Hill, Ryan Ramczyk, Demario Davis, and, up until about 5 minutes ago, Marshawn Lattimore on the books for way more than they need to be. You're 2 years away from fixing the salary cap. In free agency, the highlights of what you've signed are Chase Young, Jamal Williams, and Willie Gay, whose impact among the 3 of them has been limited. You've done all of this for a record of 27-33 and 0 playoff appearances since Drew Brees has retired. And you've managed to do this with an arrogant attitude that has turned off pretty much any fan that could have been in your corner. By every measure, by a wide margin, Mickey Loomis over the last 4 years has been the worst general manager in football. The number of moves that have actually worked have paled in comparison to the ones that haven't, and in virtually every category that matters to a GM. So that was what I was trying to say on Sunday when I said, hey, you want to fire Dennis Allen? Oh, you hired Dennis Allen. Sorry, who is 186 out of 201 of coaches that have coached, winning percentage, coaches that have coached at least 50 games in the National Football League. So you didn't hire a coach that worked out. Your drafts have been abysmal. Your free agent signings have been abysmal. Your record has been below 500, and you've done all of that at an exorbitant cost that has you into the mother of all rebuilds. So that's it. I don't have to say it again. That's the legacy of Mickey Loomis since Drew Brees retired.
3rd round pick is what they got. Probably be in the 20s. They did swap. They get up. They move from a 5th and a 4th. So they move up from a 5th to a 4th.
Yeah.
and some other guy to get their good draft back. But that's basically it. So
a pick
it's
swap
late,
plus
a late
pick swap plus a 3.
a late third.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be in the 20s.
Yeah,
Washington's going to have one of the top 12 records in the league.
That'll be a top
you
100. That'll be a top 100 pick. But it'll be probably somewhere around 80 to 90.
Yeah, and that's what they had. So they, a little bit better. They move up from they swap. They get their fourth instead of their fifth, which ain't gonna be a whole lot difference. The Saints' fifth is gonna be low.
That'll probably be about that'll be about
top 5.
I would say that'll be a 10 to 15 point, 10 to 15 slot move up.
Yeah,
somewhere in there.
15.
15.
Say top 5, and say they're drafting 5. They're drafting 22.
Lattimore, they saved $600,000 on the cap this season. They can roll that into next year. It saves the Saints $400,000 against their cap besides that in 2025.
Still 32nd, right? By
yeah,
I know.
This is you save a little bit of money, you pick up a little bit of draft capital, and it will help you against the cap at the later stages of his contract. But it's still at least 2 years away. So baby steps. That was the first move of the day. You have one of those looks on your face.
Let me go get my season tickets now.
No, just hey.
It's gonna be a long time. This is gonna be my next LSU basketball, man. It's gonna be a long time before I get excited about the Saints.
I'm not asking you to get excited. I'm saying that every journey starts with the first step, and you got to start somewhere. So, if I could fix all of this with one trade or one draft,
if we're giving credit on this show for doing this, really, we got low standards, man.
I'm giving them a little bit of credit.
Okay.
It's a better move than not making it. Is all I'm saying. I'm not ordering Super Bowl gear, or carving out some time in February to make a trip to the Super Bowl. Just saying, you got to start somewhere.
The curve has been set low.
Yeah. There's not much else you can do other than start somewhere. They started digging this hole 5 years ago, actually more than 5 years ago.
You give them all the credit you want. You ain't getting nothing for this. This is fails in comparison of the situation. So, okay, you want to give them credit? Let me get out of 32nd first.
You got a long way.
And we got a long way to go.
To get you out of 30. Get you out of 32nd. This is the first of many moves you have to make.
The Saints fans were in the Beau Rivage and coming up to us after the game, like, can you believe they made that play? Like, really? Y'all not pulling for draft picks at this point? And I understand. I mean, there's some people that are celebrating, like Dennis Allen, like that's the only reason. Yeah, he had to go, but damn. And yes, the Saints, who are now one of how many that rushed for 150? Gained them on 150, win the turnover battle. 750 or 250?
275 and 0 until
275.
Sunday.
If you're one of 276, what's going on? And yes, their effort in there, they're tanking. So you look at that tape on Sunday, look at that tape on Thursday night against Denver. No, they're not even trying. Okay, so I get it. You got to at least get the professionals and try and they're still playing for their careers. You would know it by a couple of tapes, but man, you're still dealing with some, like, there's a chunk of Saints fans are still trying to win these games, man. No, part of rebuilding is moving up in the draft order, and that's, man, give up, man. Tank. Play Spencer Rattler every time. Play him every game.
And I would too, Jimmy. But you do know that there are people, a lot of them actually, that are casual fans that they start paying attention to the Saints at 5 minutes to 12 on Sunday, and they stop paying attention at 3:30 on Sunday, and the rest of the time they don't pay any attention. They want them to win the game, and they're not thinking about salary cap or draft or big picture, any of that stuff. They just go to the game. They want to see them win. That's why they were happy that Dennis Allen was gone, and they don't realize that it doesn't solve the bigger problem, but they don't care. They're casual fans. They can leave this at the doorstep at the end of the – we can't, okay? We live this stuff. This is our business. We are constantly, looking at what the long-term future is. There are fans, and they were some of the Beau Rivage said, hey, you know what? we hope the Saints win today. And at 3:30, if they did or they didn't, we're going to go on about our lives. We don't think of it that way. We're not casual fans. But there's a lot of them out there.
Well, the casual fans don't mean as much to me as my season ticket holder fans.
Okay.
And and I'm not sure, I would think that a chunk of those season ticket holders think past. Some are in that category, what you're describing right now.
Mhm.
Okay, some are. I get it. They go in there, they want to win. You see them at the game cheering.
I'm going. I'm getting me a $12 beer. I'm going to watch the game, and I hope the Saints win. And at the end of the game, whatever's whatever.
When's the last time you've been there with that $12 price?
Right. I know it's pricey. I don't know.
Okay, so but there's some fans that realize it's got to get worse before it gets better too. Okay,
Right.
and if you are concerned about your season ticket holders, you would have never brought this guy back in the first place. So this is and now Mickey Loomis is going to work. He's going to work today. Well, congratulations. Hey, let's put him in first class.
I didn't put him in first class. I put him in no class. But I'm happier about this than if I was sat here at 4:00 and come to the show tomorrow and go, you know what they did? Absolutely nothing again. Absolutely. They haven't even given you the indication that they realize that something is wrong. Now maybe at least they realize, hey, man, this thing we've been doing, this ain't working. Let's try to go in the other direction.
Hey, Charlie Brown, don't kick that football. Okay? Don't think that football is going to stay down on that team.
I still want them to change GMs. Don't misunderstand here. But with everything negative that has happened with that team in the last 7 weeks, I'm taking any little ray of sunshine I can get.
Don't forget our friends over at Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. I certainly wish I knew about Relief Windows and their RLS gel wind windows and that are built to last in these extreme southern Louisiana weather conditions. Yes, indeed. Relief Windows for doors, for siding, for windows, for shutters, quality windows, doors, siding, and interior shutters. Even better customer service. Give them a call at 230-5652, 230-5652, or you can go and check out all of their products online at reliefwindows.com. Schedule an appointment right online as well. Proudly providing top quality windows, doors, siding, and shutters in Louisiana, of course, where our headquarters are here in Baton Rouge, but also in neighboring states, Mississippi and Texas as well. Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com.
Live at Mike Anderson's. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
Yo, Jacob and T-Bob here. And look, we've been talking about the All-Star Toyota rentals for a while. We wanted to remind you about them.
First, if your car is in service with them, they have daily rental rates starting at $5 per hour for a minimum of 2 hours.
Second, you can try before you buy with an extended test drive.
Third, they have daily, weekly, and monthly rentals with flexible plans and competitive rates. You can rent a new Toyota for as little as $60 per day.
Check out their website at allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com/rental. People you know, cars you trust, All-Star Toyota. T-Bob here, inviting y'all to come downtown to hang out with me and Jake at the Queen Casino on River Road Thursday, November 7th for our last watch party of the season. Sportsbook, drinks, food, all the big screens, giveaways you can't miss. Come see us Thursday, November 7th, 7:15, Bengals versus Ravens.
That was one hell of a game, huh?
Head to 104.5 ESPN's YouTube channel, Whiskey and Wine with Moscona and T-Bob. Coming at you live and rowdy from Don Juan Cigar Bar all season long, immediately after the game. Sponsored by God Lid and Home Fields Apparel.
If you liked Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar before, you will love the all-new updated Jolie Pearl in downtown Baton Rouge. Jolie Pearl is the place for the true oyster connoisseur, featuring a brand new extended menu. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar features oysters from all over the world, served up grilled, baked, and raw. Stop by for lunch, dinner, or before any event downtown or at the River Center. Jolie Pearl. Upscale oysters in a New Orleans-style atmosphere, North Boulevard in the heart of downtown, or online at joliepearloysterbar.com.
Bow and waterfowl season is open, and Southern Outfitters is your one-stop shop. Fully stocked with decoys, full-service bow repair, and sales. Tree stands, hang-ons, and hunting apparel for the entire family. Visit Southern Outfitters in Zachary and at southernoutfittersla.com.
Did you know most homes don't have adequate insulation? This means higher electricity bills. Capital City Comfort can come and inspect your home for any spots that need extra insulation. Get ready for Louisiana weather with Capital City Comfort. Online at capitalcitycomfort-br.com.
As we all live longer, age is really just a number, but retirement is so much more than one.
Edward Jones Financial Advisors want to know what you want out of your retirement so we can help you get there. Together, we can look at the big picture and make a strategy to help you reach your goals. Because you can't prepare for the unexpected if you don't know where you're headed. Call your local Edward Jones office to schedule an appointment today. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
In Baton Rouge, call Brandon Becknell. In Denham Springs, call Scott Landry. And in Brewley, call Wes Watts.
Run with us on a John Deere Z365R Z-Track mower, built for taking it easy. With the Easy Change 30-second oil change system and standard mulch control to control your clippings without any extra effort. Because lawns aren't just for mowing, they're for living. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere Z300 for more.
Pre-order your new John Deere at Ascension Equipment on Airline Highway in Gonzales. Pre-order now and get your mower before the grass grows.
Sure, there are other places to watch football, but the real game changer? Yeah, that's Hooters. This season, Hooters is your headquarters for all the football action. Check out our game day bundle, 10 boneless wings and a Big Daddy Yingling draft for just $14.99. Plus, head to Hooters for happy hour and enjoy $3, $4, and $5 drink specials weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. The best part? It's all served up by the world-famous Hooters girls. Hooters, winging it since 1983.
Boudreaux's Electrical, where every client is a VIP 24/7. No subscriptions, just unwavering commitment to your power needs with Generac home standby generators. Boudreaux's treats you like family, not just another outage. Visit boudreauxelectrical.com.
Hi, this is Jake and James of Trash Rangers of Louisiana. Have a question, a problem, call us. We answer the phone. 225-363-9053.
Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 5 brands on one lot. Shop BayouAutomotive.com.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
You can always get the show on demand, 1045ESPN.com, new LouisianaSports.net. New Handycast is up. Took a look back at some of the earlier film from the year, see how LSU has progressed. It's up right now on YouTube. It's just a rare instance where we're actually interested in the team that the Saints are trading somebody to just as much as we are in the Saints, because the Commanders have been a fun story to watch with Jaden Daniels. I didn't realize this, but they actually are giving up the 5th fewest passing yards in the league. So this is an addition to what has been a decent secondary for Washington. They're kind of in the middle of the pack. They're 13th in points allowed per game. They could, use some help on defense. What else? You watch the Commanders a bunch.
Not considered to be a strong defense by any stretch.
It's a little record. It's a little schedule.
Yes, it's actually, they're considered to be a little bit of a weak spot, and this is what they need to improve upon. But they are, with sort of everything's with the whole cleansing and everything just seems to be working. They won that game against the Giants. The Giants kicker doesn't get hurt, they probably lose.
The first game against the Giants.
Yes, the first game.
Right.
Okay. But the second game, when they go to their place, it's a much more routine win because their defense is improving. Everybody, they had they had the defensive lineman from Alabama, the guy that could hurt. That hurts.
Allen, yeah.
But it was kind of a defense that Quinn is kind of getting on to improve. He was a very shaky hire. He's got it. Just just the culture. I mean, the whole thing is on the improvement. Now, man, they're going to get a really good cornerback who's got a good track record, who's been injured, but you know how these guys get miraculously improved when they switch teams and in a change of scenery. I mean, Hopkins was productive last night. He took a little pressure off of Kelsey, who had 14 catches last night. The kind of Worthy, I don't think you still regret not taking him in your fantasy draft as you talked about.
No, he hasn't been highly productive. But
and he's not going
to be a volume guy.
And his lack of development is the reason why they went off and got a Hopkins also. So I mean, it's and Daniels, when you have to defend the whole field, and he throws. I mean, how how more quarterbacks at the highest level don't know to put air under the ball on a deep ball. Don't throw it out of bounds. Don't overthrow it. You underthrow, okay, you're going to get an interference call more times than not. But you just don't. Man, he throws the ball on the money downfield every time, and he also has touch in on the underneath stuff, and then he can run like the wind. Just slide, just get out of bounds. That's the only thing that's going to kill this. He is so advanced, and
he's
when
trying. If you've noticed, he's trying. He's cognizant of it. He's not the most graceful slider for somebody who runs as well as he does, but he's trying to get
Did he
down.
get hurt on one where he didn't get down? He did.
It
cost him some time.
It was an awkward slide. Yeah, he was trying to slide and ended up. He got hit. Yes, he was trying to slide.
Yeah, I mean, but you got to get down. You know, I mean, you have to get down. I mean, watch Mahomes. He's getting down. You know, so
sure, and
you're going to take enough hits in the pocket. You know,
right? And he'll, I think, continue to improve because he works at everything. Okay, we've seen him do nothing but improve since he came into our lives.
Showed that he's coachable.
Yes. Okay. So he is trying. They have Pittsburgh this weekend, but then they get Philadelphia in a Thursday night game a week from this Thursday, and again, it's going to go a long way towards the side. And who do you think is more likely to win that division? Washington is 7-2 right now. Philadelphia is 6-2 right now. Who's more likely to win that division?
Well, Philadelphia is a favorite, even though they're behind.
They are. They're minus 143. The Commanders are plus 120. But I'm asking your opinion. Who do you think is more likely?
I think it's pick 'em.
It's close.
I think Philadelphia, when they're healthy and you know Hurts has all of his weapons at his disposal. Line, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, all the Saquon. He's got all of them, and they're tough. I mean, Saquon Barkley might rush for 2,000 yards, or at least close.
Yeah, he's
1,800.
He's pacing towards high 18, 19.
He sure looks like he's playing with a little purpose, like he wants to show the Giants that they blew it.
What scares me about Philadelphia, because I'm rooting for Washington. I like to see Daniels do well.
Everybody is
that Philadelphia has really become efficient offensively because they are running the football first. And when I say they're running the football first, the only team that's running the football better than them in the NFL right now is Baltimore with Derrick Henry. And what that's done is it's taken all of the pressure off of Jalen Hurts, who got off to a real shaky start, but hasn't turned the ball over in 4 games because they are leaning on that running game. They do that, they'll be difficult to beat. Washington is right there. That Thursday night game, the next 2 Thursday night games are really fascinating games because you got Joe Burrow and the Bengals who desperately need this one against the Ravens in Baltimore on Thursday, and then you'll have a tone set the following week when Washington plays Philadelphia on Thursday night as to who's going to be the boss.
So they're going to play both of them. Where's this one?
The game this coming Thursday is at Philadelphia, and then they play in Washington 3 days before Christmas. So
it's fun, man. I mean, I think I know this. Dallas is out the picture. I mean,
you want to tell Jerry?
Well, I mean, they're done. They're done, and they've got too much ground to make up, and they're just done. It's a 2-horse race. And Washington, who's playing better than him? I mean, he's got McLaurin. I mean, yes. I mean, Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jared Goff.
No.
Yeah,
no.
yeah. Oh, Jared Goff can't miss.
No, but he's got the best running game in football.
But he doesn't miss. I mean, the guy's completed damn near every
but Charlie,
pass.
he's got compare the weapons, compare the offensive line. Washington's got nothing that he's got. The backs that they have.
No, he's got.
I mean, Robinson's a nice back.
I'm not arguing that he doesn't have more resources, but he's playing at the highest level you can play right now.
But he's executing because they're taking it. They're reducing the amount of throw. He threw it over 35 times. One time they lost. They throwing it under 30, and they winning. But I mean, it's not like.
No, he can't run like Daniels, and he can't. I don't even know.
Goff, here's where I get. Here's where you'll understand. Put Daniels with Detroit. How would he be doing?
I get that.
But he'd be doing fine, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
put golf with Washington.
He would.
Can't.
He would
No, no.
But you're asking me who's playing at the highest level right now. I would give you Jared Goff. And I'm
Well,
not saying they can swap positions.
Well, the difference between me and you is I take into consideration that he has, Jalen Hurts. Yes, he's on when he's got every piece available to him. You saw when he didn't. He was a turnover machine, right? Why is he playing better now? Well, everybody's healthy
because they're running the ball. Yeah.
Well, and they're taking pressure off of him, but everybody's healthy now too.
Yeah, that helps.
But you take those pieces away, and who these pieces were here a lot of now. One thing that Quinn did, he took all of Jerry's depth. The Cowboys, some of those guys that weren't, they're star heavy. They're paying Parsons, they're paying the CD, they're paying Dak, but all the guys that the intermediate guys, they're over at Washington right now, and his complete team and their roster build. But I can't compare the different supporting cast that Goff has and what Daniels has.
I can't compare the
do that.
supporting cast
Can't do
either,
that.
but Goff is playing great right now.
And Daniels is not?
He is.
So they're both playing great. One guy has less of a supporting cast. It's kind of a simple math, huh? Connect the dots, Charlie. It's election day. Supreme.
I said one thing since I paid my bet.
Total maintenance. My buddy Lucas Ragusa, one of South Louisiana's oldest and largest AC and heating companies since 1980. How about that Jimmy Yacht special, baby? One-time heater or AC visit, just $79 instead of $179. So pick up the phone. If you got something wrong, you need to, you don't want to get a cleaning check. 480-1000. 480-1000. You definitely want to get that heater checked before you turn it on for the winter. Make sure that everything is taken care of there. We want to, as we said, one of South Louisiana's oldest and largest AC and heating companies in the area since 1980. So we are Total Maintenance. Don't forget, covering both Baton Rouge, Metro Baton Rouge, and New Orleans areas. We have different offices at different locations and different staffs, not to compromise either of them as well. And the membership program's a smart way to fly. Cover all services with discounts and extended warranties. We let you know when it's time for your unit to be served. You don't have to worry about that. You got enough things to worry about. Total Maintenance, 480-1000, 480-1000.
Live at Mike Anderson's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
Attention Baton Rouge residents, your firefighters need your support on the November 5th election ballot. Our proposition is just for firefighters and is last on your ballot, titled City of Baton Rouge 6 Mills. Firefighters stand ready to serve you every time you call 911, whether it be medical emergencies, structure fires, or vehicle collisions. Please vote yes for your firefighters, titled City of Baton Rouge 6 Mills, paid for by the Baton Rouge Professional Firefighters Association.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the inventory to get you in a new truck or SUV today. Or let us help you customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery. Visit BayouCDJR.com to shop or schedule a same-day appointment with our service department. Just off I-10 on Belterre and LaPlace. If you need sales, service, or fleet, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Well, why don't you just come right out and say it?
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the Jim's Firearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Say what? Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the Jim's Firearms.net hotline. Get the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge mobile app powered by Bayou Ford and tap the microphone icon to send us your thoughts in an audio message. Your message could be played on air. Find our app in the Apple or Google Play Store. For direct links, visit 1045ESPN.com.
Need more space? Workbox LLC has the storage solutions you can count on. Whether you're a homeowner, commercial contractor, or industrial business, we have the space for you. Our secure, versatile storage units are ready to meet your needs. Contractors, keep your site organized and efficient. Store your materials with us and access them anytime you need. Businesses, industries of any size, Workbox LLC is your trusted partner for flexible, safe storage. Workbox 343-4886 and WorkboxLLC.com.
Congratulations are in order for one of my favorite places to eat, Snow's Seafood and Steaks, celebrating its 50th anniversary. That's right, since 1971, Snow's has been serving a wide assortment of menu items to please everyone. Steaks, seafood, gumbo, homemade soup, salads, specialty cocktails, great wine selection, and oh yes, the best white chocolate bread pudding that you'll find anywhere. It's the total dining experience. Happy 50th anniversary to my friends at Snow's Seafood and Steak, Airline Highway at Highway 74 in Gonzales.
Struggling to lose weight? Feeling overwhelmed by diets and exercise plans that just don't work? There's a better way. Unique Physique offers weight loss injectable medications. Semaglutide, now only $195 a month, and tirzepatide is only $325 a month. The lowest prices in town. No contracts, no gimmicks, just real results without the hassle. Visit uniquephysique.com or call today to schedule a consultation and unlock your weight loss potential. Unique Physique, your weight loss solution.
With all of the financial headlines, are you worried if your retirement savings will last? The market's ups and downs can keep you guessing, especially if you're approaching retirement or considering it. If you have more questions and answers about what's next, let's work together to help ensure you're prepared for your journey. After all, retirement isn't the end of the trek, it's a new beginning. Stop by your local Edward Jones advisor. Tex Morris on Jefferson. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Hi, I'm Skip Bergman. You know, my players relied on me for guidance and advice, whether it was fielding tips or when to swing for the fences or the little gorilla ball. In business, that's where good bankers come in, like the business bankers at Citizen Bank and Trust.
That's right, Skip. This is Jim Ferguson of Citizens Bank. If you're a business owner, the bankers at Citizens are here to coach you up for success. Join our team today. Citizens Bank and Trust, business bankers, business partners, member FDIC.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Back here at Mike Anderson's Live at Lunch, the first college football poll will come out tonight as far as the playoffs. You know who else is still in this thing that certainly wouldn't have figured when they lost to Nebraska back in September? Colorado's got a reasonable shot at the Big 12 championship game. Would you pick that one at the beginning of the season? Probably not.
No, I had them about a 500 team.
What they need, if they
6-2, no, I didn't.
If they win out, they need Texas Tech to finish ahead of Kansas State, and they make the Big 12 championship game. Now they can't get in as an at-large, but all four of these games are winnable. Probably the scariest one. They got to go to Texas Tech this weekend. They play Utah, Kansas, and Oklahoma State in September. Utah, Kansas, and Oklahoma State look like a pretty daunting schedule.
Where are those games?
They're at home against Utah. They are at
Win.
What's that? Win. In 2 weeks.
Win. W-I-N.
Oh, I'm sorry. They're at Kansas.
50-50.
And they're at home against Oklahoma State.
It's going to be 50-50 too.
Yeah. And then they're at Texas Tech this weekend.
50-50.
Mm-hmm.
Three toss-up games and a win.
Yeah.
So I think Charlie, 8-4, 9-3 makes, I hate to say it, but a big difference on if my guy's going to win it, Travis Hunter in the Heisman Trophy. Can he win it at 8-4? I guess he could, but he sure does. Man, if he has, with his impact and his historical participation, he's just so good, man. He's got the selling point. But 9-3 makes it, we know how it is. I mean, the more your team wins, the better your chances are in this thing.
Get into the Big 12 championship game so you can be on that stage and have, if you have a big game, you can help yourself. The Heisman voting. So after that,
yeah,
you can still vote after that.
So they have one loss in the conference. That's Kansas State. And that was a close game.
Mm-hmm.
Actually took the lead late. But of course they had the one, the gift against Baylor. Baylor wins again. Aranda.
Yeah, he's rallied, huh?
He has, man. He has. Most of us had a push. He had a couple of 2.5s out there and got a win. But they won on a walk-off field goal. But Texas Tech is odd, man. 6-0, 0-3, go to Ames and beat Iowa State.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? And that game was back and forth. It was seemed like it was one score either way with about 6 lead changes over the course of the game.
Yeah, and I got I got nobody in that league that I think can be an at-large. If BYU loses, it's hard to get them there. If Iowa State loses, it's hard. Whoever wins the league gets in, but I don't know that there's a second team. It's hard for me to.
12-1 BYU in the conference championship runner-up.
Let's see. Looking at
with a win over
that win
SMU.
against SMU. Strength of schedule is 63.
What about Kansas State? Kansas State's going to be top 15 tonight.
That's a good win.
But they lost. No, they lost to Houston.
No, I'm talking about BYU's win over Kansas State was a good win. Kansas State 7-2.
But K-State's dropping down.
A little bit, but they're still 7-2. That's still a good win for BYU, don't you think? The win over Kansas State?
Not as good. Not with the loss to Willie.
The problems that they have, talking about BYU, is Arizona was supposed to be a good club. They're awful. Oklahoma State was supposed to be a good club. They're awful. Utah was supposed to be a top 12 type team. They're 500. UCF was supposed to be a little bit better than what they are, even with the big win this past weekend. They've still got a losing record. And what's left on their schedule, Utah and Kansas.
Baylor might be 8-4 on the road, 8-4.
Yeah, but Baylor's a decent win. SMU's a really good win. Kansas State's a really good win. I don't know.
It's not a lot.
No. Maybe.
But the Utah is just not close to what they thought they were.
Nowhere.
Not close.
Nowhere in the discussion. And how much of that is really Cam Rising too? Because even when he came back, he was playing hurt, I guess.
Hey, I want to talk about something we were talking about today. And Paul Stone said today on our podcast on recording that he thinks the max a college an odds maker puts is 3.5 on college games.
The max on a
home field value.
On a home field value is 3.5.
I disagree, big time. And I don't know if everybody understands. Let's say, well, what's home field value? How often do we say what's home field value for Tiger Stadium? What's the home field value here? What's home field value? Well, home field value in Tiger Stadium in reality is way more for Ole Miss at night when they're top 10 in Alabama at night, as opposed to UCLA, as opposed to Nicholls State.
Right.
It is not the same.
What was the stat that Wes Reynolds gave us last week that the SEC favorites among the top teams, the home favorites were like 3-15 against the number?
Yeah, we went through it. It was about that.
Don't you think that is because those lines have been inflated even more? Because if you're 3-15 as a home favorite, wouldn't that indicate that those numbers had been pumped up a little bit more? The home field numbers had been pumped up a little bit more.
Maybe so.
They're 3-15. I did hear
you had 2 more go down on Saturday,
which is again why LSU and Ole Miss on Saturday.
Auburn was at home favored.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's not a home favorite on Saturday.
No, they're not. But I like them to win the game because they're at home. I guess is where I was going. And Ole Miss is not a home favorite either.
No, but I'm just saying,
I like them to win.
No, but you're bringing up the stat that Wes brought.
The stat is indicating that the lines have been.
There's Auburn Jordan Hare is more of a factor for the Iron Bowl than it is against Vandy.
Yeah. I
mean, Tennessee is more of a home field value against Alabama than it was Saturday against Kentucky.
Yeah, I think it'd be a little bit higher than 3.5. I would say 4 to 4.5, maybe even 5 in some rare cases.
You saw the game. What would you put on that? What was the difference in that Ole Miss game?
A touchdown. Easy.
Yes.
A touchdown.
Yes. We're on the same page. Okay.
When you had to set the line, you didn't know that, but yeah, it ended up being a touchdown.
Minimum.
For sure. Yeah. Do you think Alabama would have beat Georgia in Athens?
No.
Yeah, that's another one that was
I don't think LSU beats Ole Miss in Tiger Stadium. I don't think Alabama beats Georgia at home. I don't think Tennessee beats Alabama in Tuscaloosa.
Mm-hmm.
Or even neutral. All these even neutral. There's only one this year. When the top 7 teams in this, we agree is top 6. There's 7 in the SEC and in a dip.
Yeah, although South
To
Carolina,
South Carolina,
although South
Missouri?
Carolina's making a case that
Are they?
not their overall record, but how they're playing in the last month. I mean, the 2-point loss at Alabama, they thrashed Texas A&M. I mean, right now they don't have a top 7 resume, but do they look like a top 7 team in the league? Yeah. I mean, pretty damn close. If South Carolina was playing Tennessee this weekend,
Are you
to
going to
me,
put South Carolina ahead of Tennessee?
I wouldn't put their resume ahead of Tennessee, but I'm saying if they played
the
this
team.
Saturday, the way they're playing right now, I'd call out a straight toss-up.
On a neutral field.
Yeah, I'd call out a straight toss-up. The way that Carolina pass rush is playing right now, yeah, I'd give
What's their
them
record?
5-3, I think.
Lost to Ole Miss, Alabama, and who?
LSU. Those are good losses.
Yeah.
I mean,
the only home loss was LSU. I mean, they gagged that one away.
There's not that awful loss like Ole Miss has on their resume to Kentucky. You know, they don't have one of those clunkers. They lost to some pretty good teams.
I can't go to war with in Los Selder's inconsistent. But Nico, he's no more inconsistent than Nico. But of the 7 teams that I put in there, you could put 8 if you want.
No,
if you
I
want to
don't
include
necessarily.
South Carolina.
I
but
don't
for
want to include
argument's
their
sake,
resume.
I was, there's been one of those. Okay, in the top 7 teams, are LSU, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia.
That's fair.
The one, and when these 2 teams have met each other, so it's not just at home against inferior teams or whatever. And yes, A&M went to South Carolina, lost, and yes, Tennessee went to Arkansas and lost. But when the 2 of the higher level teams in the SEC play, the home teams are winning. The home teams are winning, and minus Georgia at Texas, and that's it. And the one thing though is, are we going to include this little runt stadium of 64,000 with the big boys in this league? Because there ain't no comparison with Bama, LSU, Georgia, A&M, Tennessee, and Texas hold. Then that little Portalot visiting end zone thing in Oxford.
No, it's nowhere near the size. It's nowhere near the decibel level or anything like that. But do I think Ole Miss is going to have?
You think it's every bit the home field advantage that the others are when it's right?
I think it will be this weekend. I'm not saying it is every time.
So you're saying is your home field value this weekend in Oxford was as much as LSU versus Ole Miss earlier.
Yeah, and
touchdown.
Here's my reasoning. Okay, and I'll look like an idiot if Georgia goes in there and blows the doors off. This has been the most anticipated Ole Miss season in 2 decades, and they've got the best program of the last 5 years going in there to play them, and they're playing pretty well right now given what they did last week. So yeah, this weekend, I think they will have every bit the home field advantage.
Of the 7, who are the 2 most talented teams?
NFL talent, I would say Georgia and.
Why are you saying NFL talent?
Well,
we talk at college
talent level. I would say Georgia.
I mean, there's some good college players.
Yeah,
I mean,
that end up not being. Maybe I shouldn't have used that. I think Georgia's probably a small cut above everybody else, and after that, I think you could probably put them in a hat. Alabama, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss has got, especially with the transfer portal guys that they've got in there, it's pretty close.
To me, Texas is an incomplete. I'm still trying to figure out because they played one. Come on, and I know Vandy's a nice story, but that's your best win. I mean, we talked about this in the offseason. It's come to fruition now. It's a weak schedule for being in the SEC.
Oklahoma and Michigan are awful, yeah.
So they're incomplete, okay? I think Georgia and Ole Miss are the most talented teams in the league this year.
I'm with you on Georgia. I think
deep into the season,
they're
top 10 in offense, points scored and points allowed.
Yeah, you go look at that transfer portal haul of those guys. Yeah, Ole Miss is right there. They said Saban said that way back in the summer at SEC Media Days. He said they've always had guys on the not always. Kiffin's had guys on the perimeter. These linemen, I know we bring up Walter Nolan more than anybody else, but their overall depth and talent up front is far superior to what they usually have, and
especially
it's on par.
defensively.
Yeah,
and they've always put up points offensively. They ain't come close. And look, the non-conference schedule is a joke. I get it, but man, they kind of showed you what they're capable of. I mean, they kind of, they that's not every game, but I don't care who. Arkansas, where they lost 8-9 to go up 700 yards.
Yeah.
How many teams in the league can do that?
700 yards, not many.
Without the best player?
And they've never been
Without
bullied.
the best player.
They've never been bullied up front. In past years, sometimes they get bullied up front. They haven't gotten bullied up front. They lost a couple of games. They pretty much, self-inflicted everything against Kentucky, but they didn't get bullied in that game.
No, they're not getting beat 52-17, and that score was worse. I mean, the game was worse than the actual score last year. So, live at lunch, live at Mike Anderson's, where tonight it is half off the oysters, 5 to 9 in the bar only. That's every Tuesday night over here at Mike Anderson's. Live at lunch, live at Mike Anderson's, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
Custom Colors of Baton Rouge, specializing in body and paint.
Whenever you're ready, Jordan.
All right. It's rolling.
This is Charles Hanagriff. Join us for the Wednesday edition of Live at Lunch from the original walk-ons, Burbank and Nicholson, Wes Reynolds, Randy McKay, and Scott Rabelais. Join us Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. Wednesday from walk-ons on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Steady Truck, the truck. GMC's continued commitment to professional-grade engineering is on full display at your Bayou GMC dealer. Come take a test drive today and see for yourself. We are professional-grade GMC.
Respect isn't something that's just given. It's earned. It comes from having experience and possessing knowledge that can be passed on to the next generation. Jim's Firearms.
GMFS, changing lives. T. Brown here, CEO of GMFS Mortgage, which we started in Baton Rouge in 1999. Thanks to you, we're celebrating our 25th anniversary. That's 25 years of helping thousands of you get into your dream homes, 25 years of helping thousands of you refinance to the best rate possible, and 25 years of helping many of you consolidate debts. The last 25 years would not have been possible without you, our clients, and our over 200 employees who come together every day through our Baton Rouge area offices and headquarters to provide you with award-winning customer service. If you're in the market to buy, build, renovate, or refinance, do what thousands of Louisianans have done over the past 25 years. Go to gmfsmortgage.com to start the process now and give us a chance to personally say thank you. GMFS, changing lives. GMFS NMLS number 64997 is an equal housing lender. Mortgages are originated at 73894 Florida Boulevard, Suite 200A, Baton Rouge, LA 70806, subject to credit and property approval.
Water is water, right? Not when it's Evermore. Smooth tasting Evermore water is Mother Nature's masterpiece. Evermore is natural artesian water. Maybe you want a healthier lifestyle, a high-end athlete who wants better hydration, or a parent who wants something healthier for their kids. You want Evermore. EVAMOR. Evermore. Available at great local retail.
Attention Tiger fans! The LSU Alumni Association is thrilled to introduce Football Fridays at the Cook. Join us at the Lord Cook Alumni Center for an exclusive game day prep experience. Mingle with Matt Moscona, Gordy Rush, and recruiting analyst Shay Dixon, and former LSU football stars. It's delicious food, refreshing drinks, and so much more. Don't miss out on the final Football Friday, November the 8th, as we preview the Alabama game. For more details and to sign up, visit lsualumni.org. Go Tigers!
The Grand Bayou Casino, conveniently located off I-10 at exit 139 in Gross-Ted, offers the latest video poker machines 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Got a great staff at the Grand Bayou Casino. Our inviting staff will greet you with complimentary coffee and sodas as you enjoy listening to the curated tunes in our comfortable seating. Make the trip to the Grand Bayou Casino, where players are welcome. The Grand Bayou Casino, I-10 at the Gross-Ted exit. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-877-770-STOP. The Grand Bayou Casino.
At Curbside, Curbside. Great burgers aren't just what we do, it's who we are. Catch the big game in our newly renovated backyard with over a dozen TVs. Enjoy ice-cold buckets of beer, craft frozens, and boozy milkshakes. Curbside has something for everyone. Visit Curbside today.
Hi, this is Jake and James of Trash Rangers of Louisiana. If you switch your residential or commercial trash pickup to us, we promise to never sell your trash to the paparazzi. Seriously.
Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 5 brands on one lot. Shop BayouAutomotive.com.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee Drive on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Still a couple hours left till the NFL trade deadline. Here's the final word on the Saints and Commanders trade. Saints get Washington's 3. They essentially swap 4th and 5th round picks. The Saints move up to Washington's 4. Washington moves down to the Saints' 5. And the Saints get back a 6th round pick, which was originally their pick in the John Ridgeway trade. You remember John Ridgeway, don't you?
30.
You shouldn't. There is a trade just went down. Steelers and the Jets. Mike Williams. Steelers finally get the receiver they've been after. He moves over to Pittsburgh. Thanks to the folks here at Mike Anderson's for being our Tuesday host every other Tuesday. Tomorrow we'll be at Walk-Ons, the original Burbank and Nicholson. For Jimmy Ott, for Max Gocho, Jordan Kinch is back in the studio. I'm Charles Hanagriff saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.